Hey everyone, now we're going to get these guys demolded. Show you all some of the tips to pop them out. So one thing that I do want to mention is that these are 3/8 thick. I think I mentioned that earlier. They're not meant to pour the whole thickness. If you do, the thicker you pour on such a smaller piece, the harder they are to get out. So keep it to 1/4 inch or less. Just know that if you decide you want to do the whole thing, it will be a little harder to demold. Some of these I raised a little high, just so I can hopefully show it off. Another thing, try not to get resin on your wing nuts. One of them here, I poured resin over the whole thing. Took a bit to break that one loose. And I sped up through the pour, mainly because my mic decided it wanted to go fuzzy through pretty much the entire pour portion of it. Sometime after I leaned over, I think I bumped the antenna or something like that, so we'll leave it like that, and I may put some music over it or something. Or since I'm already out of my comfort zone, I could just do a voiceover on it. Alright, so let's see. These two are thicker than these, but I have these offset tabs so you can go around the entire edge. That one came off pretty easy. Some of them you may have to go around the entire thing for it. Some of that flashing off. But it does break loose once you break the seal. On the back you will see flashing like this, which peels right off. You don't have to peel it off here, but you can if you want. But it does flake off just with your finger on the finished piece after you pull it off. You can probably push it through this way too. Let me try that. Alright, so you can just take 2 fingers and force them out, but some of the edges right here, especially on some of the more intricate ones, they do have some points that are sharp that could potentially, gouge into your finger. So you could just try and pop them out like that, or you can flex the plate. And you can see how I'm flexing here. You see that one popping out. Since this isn't a silicone mold and these don't flex outward like you would normally release a silicone mold, you kind of have to just push them straight down or straight up, whatever direction you're going with them. So doing this, you can hear breaking all the seals. It just breaks that connection between the plastic and the resin. So like this one, just working around, just popped it right out. So there's that flashing bit, and again, it's flush. There's no ridge or anything. You just basically push it off with your finger. It's so thin. Let's keep going. If you don't do the warping on the board, which is the way I suggest, and you just want to force it out, it's completely up to you. You can, smash it with something if you really want, but you don't have to be easy with them. These are rigid. They're not going to snap. They'll bend before they snap. But whichever way is easiest for you. I prefer the warping. It saves fingers. I want to do thick pours because I normally like to do them thicker. So this one, let's see. Yeah. So for that one, I was basically just pushing around the edges with my thumbs, and you could feel it kind of shimmy out as I was doing that. If you can't warp it very easily by yourself, because these are 3/8 inch thick, and I mean they are pretty hard. You can put them in something. You can use something like your knee just to bend it if you want. One more note is be sure all the flashing off the bottom. I mean, it just comes right off before you start your next pour. That way, the seal from the top plate and the bottom plate are secure, and you won't have any leakage. But there is a certain amount of flashing that is acceptable out to the rings, and it is normal. I've tried it from a 3-to-1 all the way up to a 1-to-1. So I think probably 800 to 3000 on the viscosity rail scale. That's good. Get that one piece off, and this one's ready to go. Sometimes they come off in big flakes, and this one's just coming off in small ones. And so, again, this is another reason why I designed it. So we just did a set of geode round coasters, and let's say I had an order for hexagon shapes. I could take a hexagon plate. Now that I just demolded these, I could throw the hexagon plate on top, and then I'm ready to go with another set. And this, getting a whole new set of 4 shapes cost me 49 bucks instead of getting a whole new set of silicone molds made for them. It's a little more work on my part. They're a little more hard to demold, but the cost savings is there. Especially if you are a high cast turnover shop where you're just kind of pumping out cast over and over, and you need all sorts of different shapes, or you just want a variety, that will get you the most bang for your buck. I'm not leaning over the table. Again, you get the offset tabs, and you can just go through flexing. I have them set so you can flex in the middle or on the corners, but you don't need a lot. Try to do it evenly. That way you're not lifting all up on one edge and it's catching on one of the studs. The studs are high enough that you can get thicker plates in the future if you want. You could actually go thinner if you wanted, but you do get a little bit more flashing that way. So this is one. I'm glad it's doing this. A little harder to, or going around it a little bit more, because most of them are actually sticking to the bottom plate. Which you do the same thing getting it loose on the bottom plate. So these are all stuck here. You do the same warping on the board. And you can hear it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but they're coming loose. I mean, you can always put something under there and pry it. I mean, they do sometimes come off as easy as that. Sometimes you got to work a little bit more for it. But just going around prying breaks that entire seal. It's not a chemical bond or anything. The surface of this is smooth. It's highly chemical resistant, so it will not actually bond to silicone outside of a mechanical bond. Or not silicone, it won't actually bond to resin outside of mechanical bond. Cleaning the top plates, going through the whole thing so you can actually see it, even though it's probably boring watching me peel flashing. And I call this flashing. You can call it seepage or whatever you want to call it, but be sure to get all of it off before you start your next pour. At least everything on the inside of the studs. It's okay if there's a little bit around the base of the stud. These are countersunk a bit so that there's some room there so that it can really seal. There we go. Yeah, so there's one of the agate slice sets, and then let's say I had a order for like a tray. I could go get my bigger geode piece, throw it on top, and go from there. I do have bigger pieces. I have an 11 by 14 cavity piece, which is a 12 by 15 base plate. I think I also showed y'all, get it, this larger one. This is an 18 by 18 base, which has a 16 by 16 capacity for like side tables. I'm also working on a 24 by 24 for anyone that likes to do tabletops. But the cool thing about this design is you see a lot of the same pieces out there. I wanted to make it modular so you could make it interchangeable, so you could also have any variation of any design you wanted. So like this geode piece, this geode center, I could take this center out, I could put a different center in, I can rotate the center, I could rotate the piece, I could flip the piece over. If I don't like this shape, I could take it off and put a different shape on. That way you can have any combination of any shape you want, or various shapes, and you can change it, just as you want to go. And it's a quick change. To pull a plate off takes maybe a minute to pull all the wing nuts off, and then go get your new plate and put it on, and you're done. There's no going through with the silicone caulk, making new forms and then waiting 24 hours for it to cure before you can pour. All right, well that's it. Hope that helped you all in the demolding. I know some of y'all struggling just trying to push them out, and if you notice, I didn't really push any of them out except for one of them to show you how I was doing it, which was just pushing around the edge and shimmying it out, because you can't, once the seal's broken, it'll shimmy out, or if you have enough force, you could pop it straight out. But if you want to save your fingers, shimmying it out or just warping the plate is the easiest way to go. And just to show you all again, the flashing, like this has got it across the entire edge. Like it just pops off. And there you go. I get some close-up shots. I'll probably post those on my Instagram for those that want to see. and then I may throw up some stills at the end of the video here. But hopefully I'll have this up quick for y'all. That way y'all can, I know most people that were part of the pre-orders, all of theirs just arrived in the last few days. So hope y'all enjoy making. Thanks. For those that are still around, I'll be demolding these guys later. They are looking pretty sweet.